What is up, ladies and gentlemen, this is Pookie once again, and today it's time to take a closer look at the lore of CSGO, because yes, there is a backstory in CSGO that you might not know about. Since 2015, Valve started adding flavor text to some weapons, and what is flavor text? It's basically some short text added to the description of the weapon. This flavor text varies from some very philosophical quotes such as "Intimidation is the sincerest form of flattery" to "If you think it's messy now, wait until you see it under a black light."
This is my tissue. Yeah, I had to know. I just had to fucking know. It's all in the order of science. And I found out it's bullshit.
But sometimes these flavor texts also reveal a hidden backstory. So over the months, Valve slowly started adding more and more of these story-based flavor texts. And also with the Operation Bloodhound we got a campaign with cutscenes for the first time. So I analyzed all these texts and cutscenes from the Operation Bloodhound to bring you guys the story behind Counter-Strike Global Offensive. But you gotta understand, this is just the beginning of the story. It will evolve more when there will be more flavor texts and when a new operation comes out. So let's start with the video. We all know that Counter-Strike is a game about the fight of the terrorists against the CTs. And so of course the story also goes about this. It's about the fight of the Phoenix, which are the terrorists, against the Coalition Taskforce, who are basically the CTs in this story. The flavor text tells us that the Phoenix is led by Valaria Jenner, and she basically wants to fight for freedom. In the flavor texts of Valaria we get to know a bit about the Phoenix and her. For example, she sees her ex not as a destruction, but basically as a rebirth. The Phoenix believes that they first need to destroy society in order to then rebuild it. That is also why they choose the Phoenix as a symbol, because in the Greek mythology it was believed that the Phoenix can be reborn from his ashes. Valeria is also the one who gives you most of the campaign missions from the Revolution campaign and the Bloodhound operation, and in the brief of the mission, the Spark of Revolution, Valaria tells us,
"Understand that for freedom to truly reign, we must burn down governments, burn down religion, burn down the bourgeoisie. And only from those ashes can mankind rise pure and clean. It's your turn to follow the path of the Phoenix."
This all basically tells us that the Phoenix is an anarchistic group. These are people who don't want the government at all. Then we also have the bodyguard of Valaria, Naomi, who supports her a lot. For example, she says that people will soon understand what she is fighting for. And from her flavor text we also get to know something interesting, and that's that there is a betrayer in the Phoenix. I believe when they talk about the shield they talk about Naomi, because she is a bodyguard, so she's kind of a shield to Valaria. And with the serpent they mean the betrayer, of course. Naomi says that when she exposes the serpent, Valaria will want to have his head. I don't know who the serpent is, but maybe in the future we get to know more about him. Then we also have Javier, a soldier who interrogates people, and a tactician, Franz Kriegeld. And these are all the Phoenix members we get to know from the flavor text. Then we also have the counter-terrorists, which are called the Coalition Taskforce. In the flavor text we meet Felix Riley, the commander officer, and we got to know he handpicked his crew all over the world. And well, people think these people he picked have some strange personalities. They get their work done. We also get to know that Felix is very hard to break, like it's very hard to interrogate him, and his crew consists of Kotari Izaki, someone who apparently buys a lot of shotguns, and Carmen Cochinero, who questions a bit the methods of Felix. Like Carmen tells us that he can save more people when he does it his way. So I think that we can say the methods of Felix to suppress the Phoenix are a bit controversial, because like people say that his crew has some strange personalities, And this guy basically says that he can save more people, so I think a lot of innocent people will be hurt with his methods. Besides the Phoenix and the Coalition Task Force, we also have the two weapon dealers, Boot and his daughter Imogen. Boot basically distributes all the weapons for both the Phoenix and the Coalition forces. He is also the guy seen on the page of the arms deal update, and from the flavor text of him we get to know that he gathers the world's best designers every year to show off their new weapons. His flavor texts also tell us that Valaria is gonna start a war really soon, and that business is gonna pick up, probably because of the war. And in the Operation Bloodhound campaign, Valaria also says that Boot cannot be trusted. From his daughter, we get to know that she shares her father's eye for quality, but her ambition is fiercer, and that she made an interesting choice for companionship. We don't know whether she chose the Phoenix or the Coalition forces, but we might get to know that later on. So now that I introduced all the characters, let's go a bit in about the story of the Bloodhound operation. From the flavor text of the AUG Anodized Navy, we get to know that Felix Riley lost a man to Valaria's lies. So who is this man from the Coalition forces who joined the Phoenix? Well, that's probably Chase Turner, a man we get to know in the Operation Bloodhound campaigns. In the Revolution campaign you get some special missions from him, and in the Marksman campaign it's basically your goal to hunt him down and assassinate Turner. From the missions we get to know that he is a very good sniper under the lead of Sebastien Haneke. Apparently he was seduced by Valaria after he had just killed a dozen of men. So why did he join the Phoenix? He basically couldn't live with himself anymore because he thought he was a monster for killing so many people, and he just didn't like the methods of the Coalition task forces. So he joined the Phoenix, who were fighting from freedom, and the Phoenix thinks that real peace only will be there if they destroy the large corporations that are controlling people. So Turner basically played a role in the whole Operation Bloodhound, and it learned us about the motivations of the Phoenix, and I think it's really interesting that Valve is trying to add a backstory to CSGO. Although it's not a very deep story so far, I still think it's nice to have some background to the fight. I hope they will add more story in the next operation, and I hope you enjoyed the video. It took me quite some time to figure out what was going on with all these flavor texts. So if you liked the video, maybe subscribe and leave a like down below. So this is Pookie, and I see you guys in the next video.